Okay. So next talk is by Sébastien Ferenczi from CNRS in Marseille. And they will present some example of interval exchange, transformation, satisfying Veitch condition, Sarnak conjecture. So thank you.
Okay, so let me thank the organizer, chairman, and co-author who invited me. And I will speak of interval exchanges. And speaking of interval exchanges at impar, it feels a little for me like, I don't know, speaking of Hindu religion in Benares, something like that. But I assume there are non-believers among you, so I will give the elementary properties. So happily, interval exchanges were defined by Vincent in the last lecture. So maybe I write the picture again. For example, take this for 4 intervals. So an interval exchange is defined by k, a number k, a vector lambda 1 to lambda k, which will be the length of the intervals, lambda 1 to here lambda 4. And so which is a normalized vector, if you want, and a permutation, pi. Permutation. So, for example, let us take 4, 3, 1, 2 to change a little. So here we'll have an interval of length lambda 4, lambda 3, lambda 1, lambda 2. And you send by translation each one to the corresponding here. Okay? Everybody knows that. A little word about permutations. First, that we will take always pi primitive, meaning that for r smaller than k, pi of 1 to r is not 1 to r. It does not fix a smaller set beginning by 1. And after you take pi primitive, you have a partition of permutation into rho-z classes. So rho-z classes are linked to induction, and I may say a word about induction at the end. But what you have to know is they make a partition of the primitive permutation. Okay. Now, what about the vector of length? We shall require the transformation T, so T pi lambda, but I will generally say only T. So there is a condition called IDOC, infinite distinct orbit condition, due to Michael Keane, and which is a little weaker than the irrationality of the vector of the lambda I. So I will not state it, everybody knows it. It is quite easy to satisfy, an IDOC plus pi primitive ensure minimality. Another technical point is that when I speak of minimality, I seem to assume we have a topological system. But some people will say no, because it's not continuous. T is not continuous, it has discontinuity. So to have a topological system, xt, there are basically 2 ways to do it. Either you make some duplication of the orbits of discontinuities, or you look at the coding. Meaning, T, the topological system I look, is the shift on symbolic sequences on 1k, with to a point x, you associate the sequence xn is I if tnx falls into the ith interval. And this gives you a system living on the contour. And the other way to do it, by duplicating the orbits, gives you also a system living on a contour. So I really prefer the symbolic system. So I have a topological system. I can put a measure on it. Mu will be the Lebesgue measure. And in 1 minute, we shall see if there are others. And in all this talk, I will shift from the topological to the measure theoretic point of view and back. I consider really these systems are in the two categories. And now again, everybody at IMPA knows that the story of interval exchanges is made by big conjectures, which were very hard to solve, and which two of them were solved. So the first conjecture is unique ergodicity. So is mu the only invariant probability measure? The answer is no in general, and this was a surprise for people 40 years ago, for Misha, for example. And it was Michael Keane who introduced first counterexample. But the big conjecture, which was due to Keane, is almost every interval action, IET, uniquely ergodic. Almost every means for a given permutation for almost all vectors lambda in the simplex. And most people know that it was solved. So this conjecture was about from 75, I think, and it was solved in about 80 independently by Veitch and Maser. Second conjecture, weakly mixing. Is almost every interval action weakly mixing. So weakly mixing was defined by Benji in many ways. Here all the ways are good. And you have to make a restriction, pi not a circular permutation. If pi is a circular permutation, for example, pi of 1, 2 is 2, 1, you get a rotation. As you know, 2 intervals you get a rotation, but also 3 intervals with 3, 1, 2, you get a rotation. So rotations are not weakly mixing. Under this condition, is almost every interaction weakly mixing, and it was solved, of course, by Avila and Forni about 10 years ago, I think, already. Time passes. So about weak mixing, I don't know who, probably Veitch. Probably Veitch, because Veitch solved it in some Rosy classes, and I think it was him who first supposed it would be true in all Rosy classes. Okay, and as we are amongst friends, I can recall this nice story told me by Arthur, that it was a well-known French mathematician who urged Arthur to solve the weak mixing conjecture. And this mathematician, who played an important part in my life, is a man who is very obstinate. So every day during months, he told Arthur, you must solve this conjecture. And after a few months, Arthur, very tired of that, did solve the conjecture. And then he came back to this mathematician. And you see, I have solved the conjecture. And the answer was, it's good. But you know, it is just an appetizer. An appetizer. An appetizer. Why? Because there is a third conjecture, and which is a simplicity. So, and here, as I will note later, people probably here come only to hear me because of the name of Sarnak. So they might be surprised that I am sidetracked into the big subject of joinings. But so I have to tell you, joinings are also relevant to Sarnak conjecture. So take patience. So joinings are an old pet of measure theoretic ergodicians. So this, by the way, you noticed that this conjecture was about the topological system, and this one about the measure theoretic system. All the time, I will go from one to the other. So joinings you take a system, let xt mu be a system. The joinings are the measures on x cross x invariant by t cross t and projecting into mu on each copy of x. On mu, rather. Okay? And then there is this wonderful property of minimal self-joinings, MSJ, which says that the only, and joining, this measure must be ergodic, then the only joinings are the product measure, but then it must be ergodic and you must be weakly mixing. It's not very relevant to speak of MSG if you are not weakly mixing. And measures of the type mu of E cross B is, no, mu A cross B is mu of A intersection T minus NB. Okay, see the definition. The people like Benji know this perfectly, and others can blissfully ignore that. MSG is a very strong property, meaning that there are very few joinings. And there is a property which is a little weaker, which is called simplicity. And we shall see speak a little more of the different when we come to examples soon. Simplicity means you allow also here to replace t minus n by s minus 1, where s is in the centralizer of t. So this is a weaker notion than MSJ, and MSJ implies simplicity. And this is not a conjecture, because Veitch never makes conjectures, so this is a question of Veitch. Is almost every IET simple? And as it does not make sense, I told you, much sense to speak of simplicity when you are not weak mixing, it's clear that to begin to solve that, you had to solve this one. The end of the story is after Arthur was told this answer, he stopped having lunch with the famous French mathematician. And the point is, probably because Arthur did not want to try it, this conjecture is still open, completely open. Open, and it dates now for, I think, 82. Okay? And now, so this is now the big, this should be, I should say, the big standing conjecture on interval action, except that it is now completely out of fashion. But there is one which is really in fashion, it's Sarnak's conjecture. So happily, it has been defined by many speakers. So you remember that it means, again, simplicity is measure theoretic, Sarnak's conjecture is topologic. It means that every sequence produced by a system, topological of entropy 0, should be orthogonal to Möbius function. So is it true for interval exchange? Okay. And here there is not a point of almost every, because it is supposed to be, it is a conjecture, not a question. So I suppose Sarnak hopes it to be true for every system of topological entropy 0, and every interval exchange is of topological entropy 0. Point. Okay. And of course, this is still open. So let us try to be a little more modest. I don't want to solve the conjecture, but I want to give examples. Can we have examples of interval exchange satisfying all these conjectures? Uniquely ergodic, it's quite easy. Really, after Michael Keane, we know how to build many uniquely ergodic and even non-uniquely ergodic examples. The last was done by Yokos, so it's not a problem. Weak mixing, surprisingly, it's not so easy. It's not so easy, so it's very easy for 3 interval actions. I must also remind people who are not believers that 3 interval actions have a sort of intermediate status. They are not rotations, but they are induced by a rotation or inducing a rotation, and as such are considered as a rather degenerate class of interval exchanges. And in particular, 3 interval actions under the IDOC condition are weakly mixing. Now, if you want examples, of course, even examples I will not tell you with lambda 1 equals such and such, etc. It will be weak mixing. Even that is out of reach. But constructions, more or less explicit, of weakly mixing examples, except the paper I will talk about and others just a little earlier. The only examples of weak mixing I know are due to Sinai and Ulsigrai, and they are only for 4, 5, and 6 intervals, and only, that is important, for one particular Rosy class, one particular permutation even. For the permutation, pi of I is k plus 1 minus I, so the symmetric permutation, which corresponds, if I may use some jargon, to the hyperelliptic Rosy class. Simplicity. There also is a very interesting history. Because why did people ask this question? Because at what time, which corresponds about to the time I entered the field, MSJ were the big fashion. Everybody was crazy about MSJ. These were wonderful. They would solve every problem. And people managed to build examples of systems with MSJ, but they wanted some geometric realization of this. And so they turned to interval exchanges. And there is indeed, they succeeded. So MSJ, so it's stronger than simplicity. There is a very, very nice paper of Andrés Del Ronco. I remind you that very sadly, Andrés died about 2 months ago. So Del Ronco built a family of 3 interval exchanges, which are MSJ. But then it was all. And then Veitch realized that indeed MSJ cannot be a generic property in any reasonable sense among interval exchanges. Because in general, that is not a conjecture, that is a fact, almost all IET is rigid, meaning there is some subsequence T and I converge to the identity for the weak convergence or anything you want. Whatever, as would say Misha. So almost all IET is rigid, and this completely forbids MSJ, because this means you have a big centralizer, and that many of these measures do exist. Thus, simplicity is the right property you could hope to see satisfied by all interval exchanges, or almost all. And again, until the present work and some related one, there was no, so before I enter the scene, no example, no concrete example of simple rigid IET. You had some simple non-rigid, indeed with MSJ, Del Ronco, but not even one example saying that Veitch, that the yes answer to Veitch question would be non-empty. Okay? What about Sarnak now? Of course, you must understand that Sarnak comes much later than all this. Sarnak's conjecture, if I remember well, is from 2011. But of course, as Sarnak's conjecture was stated, people run to interval exchange to find nice examples to make Sarnak happy. So what about Sarnak's conjecture? Well, Sarnak's conjecture, you have all the rotations. Well, I don't speak of rational rotations. Remember, I always suppose the IDOC condition, so you have irrational rotation, so satisfied by rotations, so exchange of two intervals. And this is proved by arithmetic method. If I understand, this is proved by Davenport. This was proved by Davenport using, it can be found in Davenport using Vinogradov's method. So it's really an arithmetic problem, and it's not this one I'm interested in. Then you have another very interesting point, is that again, joinings are relevant to Sarnak's conjecture because there is a very nice criterion called KBSZ, Katai, Bourgain, Sarnak, Ziegler. And I'm sad that Tammy left already. So KBSZ said that indeed you can express the Sarnak conjecture by a property of joinings. And from that you can deduce, and it was Bourgain who made that remark, that if you have a topological system which is uniquely ergodic, and then when it becomes a major theoretic system has MSG, this implies Sarnak. So we do have all these nice examples of Del Runco are also the first non-trivial interval exchanges satisfying Sarnak. And then you have a lot more, another class of example, it was Bourgain. Bourgain noticed that if you used some criterion, which I will develop later, and some existing results on three-interval exchange by myself, Holton, and Zamboni, you get a class of three-interval exchange satisfying Sarnak. Even some of them are simple, again by the papers of myself and Holton and Zamboni, but it's a small thing compared to the result, which itself is not very big. So now I will state the result I want to explain here, and it is a joint work with the chairman, organizer, etc., Christian Mauduit. Well, we can build, in some sense, a lot of examples having both for the which question and for Sarnak's conjecture. More precisely, let me state two theorems. Theorem 1, we can build for every permutation we can build a large family of every permutation on every k, every number of intervals, a large family of k interval exchange satisfying Sarnak. What do I mean by large? I have not yet proved it, but we suppose it is true. Probably it will correspond to a set of parameters of positive Hausdorff dimension. Anyway, it is a family which I should say is relatively easy to build, provided we have the right machinery. A little more of that soon. And theorem 2, for at least for all k, for at least one permutation in every Rosy class, we can build a family of K interval exchange, which are uniquely ergodic, that is trivial, weak mixing, simple, rigid. Let me ask for the pleasure of Benji that they are rank 1. Satisfying Sarnak. And satisfying Sarnak with a little more, with a PNT, meaning that, and this I will really not develop that because it's a thing for arithmetician that I have not yet understood completely, but we have also estimate using not the Möbius function, but the von Mongol function. Okay, so this is a much smaller family. We cannot do it for every permutation, and of course the strongest, I think, assumption here is this one. It's simple. And then let me tell you a last story. As for actual work, this theorem was much, much harder to prove than this one. This one is really, again, provided you understand the criterion of Bourgain, is very easy. But this one was a lot of work, and I thought it was a stronger result. And then everybody who looked at these papers, it's very nice, you made something about Sarnak. Nobody even mentioned the simplicity. And thus I was a little tired of that, or I sent my paper to Veitch. What was the answer of Veitch? Oh, it is very nice. I am myself working on Sarnak's conjecture. So there is really a thing like fashion in mathematics, I think. Okay, so there comes the unpleasant part in every lecture. Try to explain at least some ideas. Well, how to say? There is one magic instrument in ergodic theory which solves all problems, and these are Rochlin towers. So the proof of both theorems will use approximation by Rochlin towers. Of course, note again that this theorem is topologic, and this one is mostly measure theoretic. So we shall need a topological approximation by Rochlin towers, meaning that our towers will have to be made of nice sets, intervals or Klopen sets, and approximate every continuous function. And this is not the use of Rochlin towers I was taught when I was young, but it is rather the notion of adic approximation, defined by Vershik a long time ago, Vershik and Lifshitz. And so we shall need to prove Sarnak, we shall need an approximation of the system by Rochlin towers. Again, Rochlin towers for unbelievers is something like that. You have a set and it's iterate, and these are all disjoint. And then you try to fill the space with a finite, or even need not be finite number of Rochlin towers, and every function, so here continuous, is approximated by functions which are constant on each level. So there is, once we have built the Rochlin tower, and I shall tell you at the end how to build them, we use Bourgain's criterion. So to explain, to state Bourgain's criterion, I just need to say that towers, when you approximate a system, towers are built by this wonderful process which is called cutting and stacking, and meaning you make concatenation. And the best way to see it is to look at the coding of the tower by some good partition. You have some partition for which each level has is included in one atom, and you look at the number of atoms. And this gives you words. So here I am in symbolic dynamics. I'm very happy of that. So it gives you names Wn, which you read along the towers. And the way the names at stage n plus 1 are concatenated from name at stage n gives you the concatenation of tower and the building of the system. And now this gives you, necessarily formulas of the type Wn plus 1i, meaning the name of the tower I at stage n plus 1, is a concatenation of names of the stage n, and I will write it multiplicatively. Each time I have repetitions, I write it like an exponent. So Wn a times Wn I1 a1, Wn I2 a2, etc. Everything depends on the particular W you take. This is not constant, but you have formulas like that. And now Bourgain tells us that if these formulas have property, basically that the cycles are very long, you get what you want. So namely, I will write this formula completely. So we have Wn ik times ak. K no, is not not interval. I r et r. Bourgain's criterion say for all big K, there exists a constant C of K such that if your system is approximated by towers with this rule, by towers with rules like that. Again, everything depends on the particular Wn plus 1 you choose, including R. But what I want is that R is bounded. So my system is not of finite rank, not necessarily. You may have an increasing number of towers, but I want that when I write the concatenation rules multiplicatively, their length is bounded. So I want that, again, at each stage I concatenate not more than k cycles, but that the lengths grow quickly, more precisely, the length of Wn plus s is bigger than the length of Wn multiplied by C of k to the power s for every name at stage n plus s and every name at stage n which enters into its decomposition. Again, a little technical, but I think experts like Benji follow me very well. The exponents have to be big, that's the point. I don't ask anything of the exponents. Some of them can be small, but they have to be big enough to ensure that with some r smaller than k, the lengths are multiplied by C of k to the s. So this means that more or less, morally, I mean that the exponent will be bigger than C of k. But I don't need to have them all. There may be compensations. But the multiplicative length is bounded, but the exponents are big, knowing this bound. Well, if you have that, you have Sarmac. And if you want also a PNT, this small thing here, it will, so with PNT, if the system you get is uniquely ergodic and weakly mixing after you put the measure. Example. The only way to understand this is example. If you look at rotations, coding, the coding of rotations I look is gives the well-known Sturmian sequences. Rotation gives you Sturmian sequences. And the concatenation rules are very simple. At each stage, you need indeed to consider only one sequence of words, Wn, which is given by the concatenation rule. Wn plus 1 is Wn to the power an plus 1, followed by Wn minus 1. At each stage, you need two towers, Wn and Wn minus 1. The formula is that, and what is an plus 1? Of course, these are the coefficients, the partial quotients. Alpha is 0, a1 plus 1, never to forget, a2, a3, etc. This is very well known. I mean, every first-year student in Marseille knows this, or should. But now, if you apply Bourgain's criterion to this formula, it's easy to see that, in fact, the condition, Bourgain's condition, is just that an is bigger than C of 2, 2 being the multiplicative length of this formula. And of course, if it is true only ultimately, it's not a problem. Here also, in Bourgain also, this needs to be satisfied only ultimately. But thus, you see that Bourgain's criterion is very nice, but for the rotations, it falls well short of the aim. If you apply Bourgain's criterion, you can only show that these rotations satisfy Sarnak. And we know that everyone satisfies Sarnak. But we get a set of positive Hausdorff dimension, and this is why we suspect that for our interval action, it's the point. Okay, so following the fashion, I spent too much time on Sarnak. What about Veitch? Well, this is also a property of Rocklin towers, but it's, so to get simplicity, you have a model. There is the map Del Junco and Rudolph map. Which is a rank 1 system, meaning you only one tower at each stage. And the concatenation rule, so only one word, but Wn plus 1, n plus 1 is Wn, iterated many times, say xn. Let me put it like that. Then one single letter S for spacer, then the same yn, xn and yn going very fast, growing fast. In the paper of Del Junco Rudolph, they take both xn and yn to be 2 to the n, but it needs not be symmetric. So this map is simple, and to get simplicity, the only way I know, make a measure theoretic isomorphism with Del Junco Rudolph map. And this will give you everything else, simplicity, but also weak mixing, also rigidity. And now when you have something like that, and a good approximation by tower when you know the rules, it is just a manipulation to get an isomorphism with that. Indeed, what you have to do, you have first to ensure that one word, for example, this one, occurs much, much more than all the others, and it will ensure rank 1. That you get big cycles for all the words, and this here, this single S, which is, of course, very important, you will get it by adjusting the length. You will need to adjust the length of Wn plus 1 so that it's a multiple of the length of the previous one plus 1. And this is very tricky, the precision work. You have really to work with the microscope there to to make a good estimate on your towers. Okay, and now how do you, the last brick missing in this proof, if you can call it a proof, how do you make Rocklin tower? Well, for interval action, everybody knows how to do that, by induction. So you take an interval exchange T, you look at the first return map of T on a subinterval. And if you make an induction, automatically you have exactly this, exactly a set of Rocklin towers. And if you induce many times, you will get your approximation you want. Now we are very lucky because induction systems on interval exchange, we have plenty of them. And there are two, which indeed I had to use both. You have the Rosé induction, which is a measure of all inductions. You know that it was, some people say Rosy-Veitch. Some people say that. Strangely, Howard Mather does not say that. Rosy-Veitch induction, but here I use really the combinatorial version, so it's really Rosé induction, allows you to make towers like that. Problem, if you want to build examples like that, which you want to have explicit formulas, and particularly in for all number of intervals and all Rosy classes, the Rosé induction is a little heavy, a little cumbersome. It's not easy to get the picture. So that's why I use the induction, which was vaguely quoted by Vincent in the 97th minute of the game. And so this is induction due made by myself and Luca Zamboni and Charles Holton at the beginning. And this is it is more difficult to define as a Rosé induction. I will, of course, never define it. But it seems to be a little more operative in building examples. In both cases, to ensure, for example, Sarnak, every induction defines a certain path in a graph. And what you need to achieve your formula to achieve Bourgain's criterion is loops, long succession of loops in the path in the graph. And the interesting point is that we did use both induction. Because when I say at least one permutation here, this permutation is very clear. It's permutation called standard. It's any permutation so that pi of 1 is k, and pi of k is 1. For this permutation, whatever the other characteristic, whatever the k, the new induction, this induction which I will not name, is really more explicit than Rosé induction, and that's why we can do these results. But then how do we get every permutation here? Because Rosy himself showed that in each Rosy class there is at least one permutation like that. And to go from this permutation to every permutation, we use Rosé induction because Sarnak is stable by Rosé induction. And so we really use both. This here we cannot extend it for the moment because the very precise results we need on the length are not stable by Rosé induction. Well, I think that will be all.
Thank you.